and welcome back to Beloved Reviews. If you're new here on this channel, I share with you delightful, family-friendly, and faith-based movies and television shows. Happy Sunday, y'all, and please let me know in the comment section below how you're doing, what are you up to, how was your weekend, did you make it out to the theaters at all, what have you been streaming, what are you anticipating, expecting? I know it's quite a few questions I unloaded on you all, but y'all know how it go, okay? But as for me, I am feeling quite hopeful. Just finished watching quite a few things, and I realized, y'all, as I'm going through like my watch list and stuff, I'm like, my gracious, I have lots of things to cover, and which is a good thing. It is, but I feel like, do I even have enough time for this? Then I start measuring the time, like looking at the time. I'm like, okay, like even if you spent 30 minutes talking about this or that, whatever, you should still have a quite deal of time left. But it's crazy that I feel like when it does happen that I don't have much time left. Y'all ever feel that way? I don't know, but whatever. Anyways, we're going to go ahead and get started with our special feature today, which is titled Hope Valley 1874. Forgive me, y'all. Streaming right now on Hallmark Plus, and we are on season 1, episode 2, which I feel like this should have been out already. I mean, this review should have been out already, but it's just so much to cover, I love this. This is a good problem. Well, not really a problem, but this is a good something to have right here when you just have so much to do and you feel like you don't have enough time to do it all. But we're gonna get through this, I promise you, okay? Y'all just hang on for the ride, all right? But yeah, this episode starts out, this is all about Rebecca's dream. Y'all know we left off on the last episode when she kind of made that declaration to herself, that vow to herself and to her daughter, that they're gonna make this work. Yes, things wasn't the way that they expected, the way that they hoped. I know that they were thinking, well, Rebecca was thinking that she was just gonna jump right into this boarding house, get people in there, the rent was gonna start to flow right away. Everything was all ready and prepared to go. But unfortunately, that was not the case. A lot of building has to happen from the ground up. So much so that she was even, for a split second in that last episode, thinking that she was going to just call it quits. Especially since Tom was like, he can understand, like, this is a little bit too much. Like, this is just, we don't need this in this town right now. But Rebecca did decide she's going to trust God and she's going to see this thing through. And I am all for that, even though I know I can tell it's going to be a lot of work, girl. Rebecca, you want me to help you out, honey? You want me to help you out? I don't know what I can do. But I am with you and Sarah on this dream, this mission, this calling, this purpose that you have together as y'all own little sweet family here. So this episode, we are jumping right into it. It opens up quite interesting. Rebecca has this dream, which almost seems real, and it reminded me of dreams that you have like that sometimes. Y'all ever experience that? When you have a dream that seems so real, almost like you just want to stay there, or you feel like you can go back there at any moment. And Rebecca, we see for the first time Rebecca's husband. Yes, we heard of him. We knew he existed at one point. We knew his character based on how Rebecca spoke so highly of him. And, I know quietly he was like a part of her motivation to keep pushing, keep pressing forward, along with God and her daughter. So we actually do get to see him in this episode, and Rebecca's just overflowing with tears, almost like can't believe that he's actually before her. And she's just like apologizing, saying like she's sorry and like this was not supposed to go this way. She's almost feeling like she didn't stick to the plan somehow. And he does comfort her. Her husband lets her know that she's right where she's supposed to be. She's doing what she's supposed to be doing, and she's protecting their daughter, and that in the end is all that matters. And when Rebecca kind of looks away from him for a moment to call back out to Sarah to call for her, I guess to call her over to see her dad, she turns back around and her husband has faded away. He is no longer there, and she wakes up terrified, calling for her daughter. And of course, Sarah wakes up out of her sleep and kind of embraces her mom and lets her know that, Mom, you were having a nightmare. It is okay. And Rebecca just clings to her daughter in that moment. And then the episode kind of opens up and Rebecca is like hearing the now. And my heart just went out to her in that moment because, like I said, many of us have had those kind of dreams, especially when you feel like we're in your subconscious, almost like you have this sort of unfinished business per se. And I feel like Rebecca does have that. I know her husband was taken away probably quite unexpectedly. They didn't even get to finish out their lifetime together, their dreams together. So I know it was so much more that she probably wanted to tell him. So many conversations that just never been had, so many embraces that you just wanted to love your loved one, not knowing that that was the last days, And so, of course, it just hits you hard as the viewer, and it makes you want to, really cherish your loved ones and cherish your life in the moments that you have now, because you don't really know if they're going to be your last. You don't know if you're on your way out of here. We just don't know these types of things. So of course that kind of came to my mind as the viewer, and I'm sure as you're watching this as well, or even hearing me talk about it, that's going to be the same case for you. That you're going to have those moments where you're like, you know what, I don't need to take anything for granted. Yes, things may not always be how I will hope that they're playing out or how I envisioned in my mind, but for now, I'm alive. I have breath, so I want to honor God with every breath that I take. I want my life to count. I want it to be worth it. I want to fulfill whatever purpose that God set out when He created me. I don't want to leave this place with unfinished business and take those things with me that no one else can fulfill, because that was uniquely set aside for you. And so that's all these types of things are going through my mind in this moment, that Rebecca does have this vision, this dream where she's able to speak to her husband and kind of have him at least a little while longer, But I felt like when he told her that she's in the place that she's supposed to be, like she's right where she's supposed to be, I felt like that was almost like God speaking to her, because I know she had so many doubts at one point, so many questions, and I felt like God was letting her know that she's okay, like she's in His hands and He got her and it's going to be all right, so that just comforted me. That gave me a little hug right quick. y'all know I maybe, do y'all think I be reading into stuff a little bit too much? Y'all can let me know in the comment section below if I'm right where I'm supposed to be. Anyway, so the episode continues. Well, we have a lot of different things going on here that I'm not going to be going into detail, like every single scene and holding your hand, walking you through every bit of thing that happens. I don't think I ever really do that. It's just certain things that kind of stand out to me more than others that I kind of want to dive into. And that's really what happens. That's the journey we're going on in this episode right now, okay? So Rebecca is in that moment. She's in that kind of mindset right now, wanting to get this whole boarding house off to a good start. She's finding that she's needing lots of material, lumber in particular, and the only one who really can help her, like she's finding out as she's asking around to certain people and seeing how she can get this thing going, moving as quickly as possible, it all kind of goes back to Tom. And Tom is the main one, like the leader in the pack, who is not for this boarding house. He is like, girl, we don't need this here in this town. He feels like so much stuff can come with that. So many negative things can come with having a place like this here. So he's not really for that. He's not trying to do anything to help her. And he can't stop her because it's hers. It belongs to her. She purchased it rightfully. She has the paperwork for it. So he can't really do anything about it. But he can not necessarily encourage her in a way, not only by words, but also by the materials and different things that she may need. So he is not trying to help her at all. So Rebecca is trying to go around him to other folks in town, asking about different people who may have some insight. One of the people is Hattie. Hattie even lets her know that certain basically like shipment or different things supposed to come in, that she can kind of It may cost her a great deal, but she kind of can go that route. But she told her basically, ultimately, she feels like Tom is mainly the only one who can really help her out. And one of the things I want to elaborate on Hattie, and I felt that way in episode 1, but I kind of felt that way. It was just nugging at me a little bit. It was just nugging at me a little bit in this episode. Is Hattie like being a little bit of a negative Nancy? That's kind of, I kind of took her in a lot of ways, which is a very I'm talking about a very turn off. It is a turn off for me, y'all, because I don't like when people be negative. You already fighting your own thoughts, your own doubts and unbelief that are attacking your mind, and that is enough. And then we gotta have people, naysayers, who want to say different things too. I mean, if you ain't got a good word for me, some encouraging things, then just don't say anything at all. And Rebecca's doing a good job where she's not really checking Hattie in that way, or maybe she just like letting it go through one ear and out the other, or it's not really bothering her in that way because her mind is already set. She knows what she's gonna do and she's not trying to let anybody stop her. So maybe that's more what Rebecca is, but for me it was standing out to me, and I was like scrunching on my face like that. Like I just want to tell you something, like get thee behind me, Satan. That's really how I wanted to say to Hattie. Not that she's a bad person. I know she has a good heart. She's been through quite a deal. She has that in common with Rebecca, where she lost her spouse kind of unexpectedly, and she's left behind with a daughter that she's been raising, and her daughter is an adult now and working in her shop with her. So she has that in common with Rebecca. She's a little bit further along the line on this journey of widowhood and different things like that. So she has a lot to bring to the table to offer Rebecca, and I think that's what connects them. She's also looks like she may not be Rebecca's age, but probably still in range where she doesn't feel like she's so far off where you can't relate to her. She feels like she's close enough where Rebecca can kind of like confide in her, and what she does in episode 1 and she does in this episode as well, with this whole dream of the boarding house. And Hattie, I can tell, even though she's a little bit of a negative Nancy, she is like standing back wanting to see how this goes. She is, in a sense, she feels like Rebecca has something that's quite different than her. She doesn't necessarily know what it is, which I believe is faith. I believe it's a real relationship with God, and that's what she's seeing, and that's what she's kind of like being drawn and pulled into when it comes to Rebecca. But of course, and Hattie is like, want to see how this turns out, because I know if it does turns out amazing, which I believe it will, it's definitely going to change Hattie in a lot of ways that I feel like she definitely needs changing. And I feel like she needs Rebecca. This town needs Rebecca. And that's what we saw more in this episode. Even though Rebecca is trying to navigate different things, trying to build her boarding house, seeing what she needs material wise and all of that stuff, but in the process she is offering up her gifts to the people here. Like in episode 1, I don't think I even mentioned that she helped deliver a baby, and she does have a little bit of a medical background because of her husband. Not to mention she's a great cook, great baker. So she is to that same couple that she helped deliver their child. And she also blessed them with some trees. And Rebecca is doing so much of that, giving so much of herself, even though she's going through the ringer. She's being pulled left and right as far as trying to get her dream off the ground to provide for herself and her child. And while she's doing this, she's not so focused on herself where she's becoming so self-absorbed and selfish. She's still lending herself to everyone that she meets, and she's still having a grateful attitude, a positive attitude, beautiful words. She's opening her mouth with wisdom. She's letting the law of kindness be in her tongue. Like it says in Proverbs, she's a gracious woman. She's building her home. And it's just not only a home for herself, but this is a home for others. And she mentions that in this episode because the town people have been so against this, like Tom, when it comes to this boarding house, that they've been taking some of the materials off of her boarding house, stealing shutters, pieces left and right for their own purposes. And Rebecca finds this out in this episode, And she just can't believe it. Like, she's like, this is my things. This came from my boarding house. Like, what are you all are doing here? And she opens up to them in this moment, like almost like tears choked in her throat in a sense. Like, and she holds it together to get the words out. And she says in this episode, like, I'm trying to build this place. I know you all don't understand. Maybe you're against it right now, but this is for you. This is for us. I want you all to have a safe, warm place that when you're home away from home, this can be a place that you can feel safe here, that you can have a nice meal that is cozy, is warm, is family friendly. I want you to feel like you're at home, that this is your home as well. That's what I'm trying to build for all of us, for you. And when she pours out her heart like that in this episode, it is like the tears are coming, y'all, because you feel her there. You feel every emotion, every pull, on top of just witnessing how she has been such a light in this town, how she has poured out herself in every gift that she's had. Like, she is not leaving this place like full. She's leaving empty. And that's how we all want to leave this world. Whenever we meet face to face with our Lord and Savior, we want to leave a wonderful legacy behind. We want to have poured out everything that God has given us to the world and left a legacy behind that leads people back to the love of Christ, that they too may be saved. And that is how Rebecca is living her life, not knowing when you're going to take your last breath. So she is like pouring forth everything. And that is such an encouragement to me, like even for me to get on here today as I was going through my watch list scene, like trying to level out, okay, this coming out this day, this coming out that day, and not rushing nothing. Still want to pour out in every video, want you to feel the passion, the love of Christ, and my love for him. And not only my love for him, but his love for me. I just want to pour out all of that in every video and not just like putting out something to just put out something. No, I want you to take away something beautiful, something you can take back to your real life, knowing that you're not alone, that you have someone who is so in love with you, who is constantly thinking about you. You're constantly in his thoughts and in his mind. I mean, you can read about that in Psalms, okay? I believe it's Psalms 139, but forgive me if I'm wrong, all right? But anyway, y'all know I have to tie it all back to him because it all does go back to him. So that's pretty much going on with Rebecca in this episode. We also have Sarah, her daughter, who is so sweet, who has that same spirit of her father, of God, and also of her mom, who's just kind. One of the things that she's dealing with, particularly in this episode, she has a friend named Jenna or something like that. Forgive me if I'm wrong. And she goes to her house and spends time with her and her mom, mostly her friend who's like around her age. And something that strikes Sarah as well as her mom, but her mom is a lot more mature with this and kind of guides Sarah on how to deal with this, is her friend doesn't know how to read. And Sarah loves books. She loves reading. She loves storytelling. So she goes over there and she couldn't understand, like in episode 1, why her friend was kind of being almost standoffish and mean in a way when Sarah's trying to open up to her and tell her about these great books, this great book that she's reading that's been a gift to her. And she don't understand why her friend kind of seems like almost mean, like she just doesn't want to be bothered with it. And we learn in this episode that her friend doesn't know how to read, and not only that, but her own parents don't know how to read. And Sarah doesn't understand, like Sarah feels like it's nothing bad. Don't feel bad about it. You can always learn how to read. Like she learned how to read, and her mom tells her, Rebecca tells her during this episode, it's pretty much not that simple. That's how it is for you. You pretty much learn how to read, but we kind of really don't know their situation. And so her mom encourages her basically, to still be kind, gentle, and not necessarily shine light on that aspect. We don't want to necessarily point out those things that make people feel not the best. And Sarah does a good job of that. So she ignores that aspect, doesn't necessarily brings it up, but she continues to be her wonderful self and continue to read and share these stories with her friend. And one of the things that happened at the end of this episode, which I so appreciate and love that Rebecca did, Rebecca pulled aside the mother of this child and basically offered that she can come over a few times a week to help her learn how to read, and would she like that? And she can also teach her own child, which would be such a gift and a treasure to her, to teach her own kid how to read. And I love that because the mom does, and I know that'd be so humbling and maybe even a bit challenging for her because you are an adult right now. You probably could be feeling some kind of way that you can't even offer your kid something so beautiful and sweet as education. And I love that the mother humbled herself here and was like, you would do that for me, Rebecca? Like, yes, like, please. She would love to learn how to read, to basically show her daughter and teach her own child how to read. So I love that. And I feel like more of this types of things need to happen in the life that we're living in these times. Like when we see someone who may be lacking something, who could be in need of something, whatever it may be, and you have the ability to share that, to help them, you have the resources, why not extend a hand? You don't need to be offered anything, like any payment or whatever, or it doesn't have to be something in it for you, but why not offer your services, your gifts, and the treasures that God has blessed you with to bring that other person that much higher in your journey, to help them even reach back to others who are just like them. We need to do better, y'all. Like, we really need to do that. And I love that it's in this show that it is showing us how we can be of service, and we are called to serve. That's how we love. That's how we show the love of Christ, by serving others and loving on others so they can see, hey, there's something different about this person. Why are you this way? And when they go back and research it, and it just leads them back to Jesus, who is ultimately about. So I love that. So what's going on with Tom, y'all? Now, y'all know Tom is a leader. He's been holding it down. He feels almost like this is his land. And he is challenging this episode because he has somewhat of a nemesis here. These new folks moving in. And so since they have a constable now who stepped up, who's been sent to the town to kind of enforce the law, Tom has had to humble himself in this episode because now you have someone who's over you. And what are you going to do about that, Tom? Are you going to humble yourself and be subject to the law, just the same kind of law that you enforced on others here by protecting them? Because that's all this new constable is trying to do, is to keep everyone safe. He doesn't want no one to take advantage of anyone, to cheat anyone out of anything. And that's really what he's here to do. So when he does have to challenge Tom and question him, and he's like, when Tom's like, this is my land, and he's like, okay, if this is your land, where is the paperwork to show forth that? And Tom doesn't have it. At this point, they didn't really need this type of thing. Everything was fine, and he was happy with the way things were and are. So we got a new sheriff in town, per se, and he is about business. And I don't think everyone is kind of like embracing him at this point, it's particularly Tom. But I'm curious to see how this is going to play out as this show continue, as the episode move forth and different things. But that's pretty much what's going on with Tom. He also have a few run-ins with Rebecca, and I can see that his heart is kind of softening a little bit more with Rebecca, because Rebecca has been extending herself so much to everyone around that in her own way, not that she was trying to do it, but she's been making friends. And people towards the end of the episode has been reaching out, bringing her back the things that they took from her boarding house, and also offering her things that she needs to build it, and offering their service. And Rebecca, like, the episode ends on a good note because Rebecca is filled with that hope again. Like, wow, God is really moving and moving on people's hearts in this town. And Tom is seeing this, and he's like, it's really making him think about this. So I am like, I'm excited about how everything is playing out here. I pretty much touched on kind of like everything that's been going on. Oh, I just remember, y'all. Hattie's daughter, Olivia. I am kind of like, Olivia, girl, I'm feeling some kind of way about you. I like you overall, but there is a certain guy here who, he is like swooning over you. His name is Clayton. He works with Tom. He's very good with his hands. And so many times, well, not so many times like that, but he showed up at the shop made something out of wood or something. No, was it some type of wood for Olivia? And you could tell that he's very sweet on her, but he's just a regular old Joe, just good with his hands and don't really know. Like, he's not like every girl is not turning her head looking for him, checking for him like that. But you can tell that he does have a thing for Olivia. But Olivia is different. She is a dreamer, a lot like her dad, like Hattie pointed out in this episode. And Olivia is basically like, she wants more. She wants to see more, do more, possibly leave this town. And her mom is not necessarily thrilled about it, but at the same time, she kind of gave her blessing in this episode, knowing that that's what she needed to do. Otherwise, if she wouldn't have done that, I believe it would have eventually caused some kind of rift between her and her kid. Because like she mentioned, Olivia is a lot like her dad. She is a dreamer. She's someone who wants to go off, see the world and all kind of things. And who knows where this path is going to lead her. And so Hattie does that hard part in this episode and give her daughter that blessing. Basically telling her, if you see the opportunity to fly, to go for it, do it. Like, don't think twice about it. Just go and dream and live your life. And I was like, girl, you did the right thing, Hattie. I know I said you was negative Nancy at the beginning of this episode, but I love how you humbled yourself. And you were like, I don't want to, like, basically, like, stuff the life out of her kid. Like, let your kid live their life. And you can't live their life for them. You can't live through them. You chose your path. Now it's time for Olivia to choose hers. You have to trust that God will have her in the palm of his hands with whatever this path leads her. And I see that Olivia kind of have a little bit of a soft spot for the constable. He's young, he's strong looking, he has that look that the girls are like, oh, I see you. He has that already. Plus he's been places, so he knows a little bit more about life and adventure, and that is drawing that's drawing Olivia to him a little bit. So, which is kind of making her overlook what's right in front of her. The guy Clayton, who may not have all of that, who may not be a dreamer in that sense or an adventurer like she's probably more drawn to, but he is sweet. He's so loving. He thinks of her. He comes and visits her and give her the best of him, what he made with his hands. And I'm like, please, Olivia, don't break this guy Clayton's heart. He's such a sweet guy. So I wonder where that's gonna go. Of course, Olivia don't see it. She's not really paying no mind, but your heart is kind of breaking for him a little bit. But Hattie does see it. She picks up on it. So I'm like, okay, I wonder where this is gonna lead, right? But y'all, this is all that went down in episode 1. So sweet, so wonderful. I'm all excited about, not episode 1, episode 2. I'm all excited about episode 3. Can't wait for us to get into it. Since we're moving close to that 30-minute mark, and I try to stay within that, we're gonna go ahead and get into our scripture. And we're coming out of Ecclesiastes chapter 5 verse 3, and it reads, for a dream comes through much activity, and a fool's voice is known by his many words. That's all I have for y'all for this video. Thank y'all so much for hanging out with me. As always, let me know how y'all liking this show so far. Where are you in the episode? Are you watching it through my eyes alone? Are you watching it along with me? Or have you already watched it? Where y'all at? Please drop it in the comments. And until next time, may the Lord bless and keep you both now and forevermore.